Segment 3, Teddy, watch what you bet. Watching that betting show should be a good one. The dance officially starts tonight. We'll all be excited. We'll turn the game on. The casual viewers will say, what are these two teams doing out here? FDU is going to take on Prairie View. Line currently sit with Prairie View +2. Total of 149. Moneyline split of -135 +115. 640 tonight, Teddy. 340 out there on the West Coast. It gets started early. It should be fun. Most people don't know too much about these teams. At FDU in line games this year, Teddy, 16-8 against the spread, 9-3 against the spread as a favorite, and 3-0 in March. Coming in hot, Prairie View 11-12 on the season. In their line games, 4-6 as a dog, and 3-1 in March as well. The dance is underway, part 1.
Yeah, I had a friend whose brother went to Prairie View. We called it Fairly Ridiculous for whatever reason, which was funny. Look, these are not two teams that I've watched all year. These are not two teams that I've been betting on all year. So I'm not going to sit here and give you a strong opinion about two teams that I don't know. I don't know them. They're in the NCAAB tournament. Great. They'll both be out by Thursday. But nonetheless, for tonight, look, Prairie View hasn't been in a tournament in 20 years. The SWAC has been awful, ATS tournament-wise. That being said, you look at the other side of the equation, Fairleigh Dickinson ranks number 295th in defensive efficiency. Points? Pace? I don't know. Maybe a slightest of lean to the overs, but these are not teams I know well. There'll be all kinds of other great opportunities to bet over the next week. I'm not going to go nuts on this one. Clear pass for me.
Teddy, I thought I had you marked down for a 20-dime game of the year in this early one, so I must have misread that tone from me there. Welcome to the dance part 2. This is the game I'm waiting for. Temple Owls fan, North Broad Street, get that nice victory versus UCF, then go out, celebrate a couple days, get dropped by Wichita. Now you're right back in the bucket here. Opening night in the NCAA action. This one should be a good one between Belmont and Temple. And yes, you're reading that correctly there. Temple is getting 3, was high as 4, and 3.5 a little bit earlier this morning, but looks like it's backtracking a bit. Total at 154.5. Some key injury information. If you've watched Belmont all season long, really good basketball team, highly efficient. The inside-outside game works perfect, and that's where Nick Muzinski comes into with an ankle injury that Coach Rick Byrd said he should be ready to go in this one, but how effective he'll be will make the difference. If you watched in the OVC championship, not having him at center really upset the balance, because anybody that knows basketball, if you have an elite big man on the low blocks that can score, make moves, and pass, it frees up your flamethrowers from three-point range. They're going to need that tonight. Temple comes in after dropping that game to Wichita State. Should be a decent one here. Temple 15-15 against the spread in all line games this year. Belmont 18-10. What are we looking forward to here, Teddy?
True TV is what I'm looking forward to. You know what I love about True TV is that you wake up the next morning and like Lizard Lick Towing is on. And you're like, what the hell was I watching last night? Oh, yeah. It's True TV. The only time of year that you see it. All that being said, this game looks great. It looks like a lot of fun because it's two teams that really play into their opponent's weakness. What does Belmont do? Look, Belmont can score. I mean, from an offensive efficiency standpoint, this team is tremendous. They lead the nation in assists per game. 1.71 assist to turnover ratio. That's second in the country. Number 1 in the country is a number 1 seed in Gonzaga. Second best scoring offense in Division I. Just under 50% shooting, 4th in the country at that. And, we're talking about a bunch of scorers. No question about it. But Temple's not going to play at Belmont's pace. They're not going to fly up and down the court. That's not what Fran Dunphy's team has done at any point during his tenure there. And Temple's got the veteran guards, and Shiz Alston and Quentin Rose, the junior, and Shiz the senior. They have what we look for out of underdogs come tournament time. They play defense, the veteran backcourt, and they value possessions. Unlike Belmont, who does turn the ball over sometimes. Temple never turns it over. They're, the 13th in the country in terms of fewest turnovers per game. Some of that has to do with pace. But a lot of that has to do with a veteran guard duo that you like come tournament time. This one should be a lot of fun. It really should be. I was leaning Belmont. The more I thought about it, the more I didn't want to bet against Temple tonight. No surprise here. If this game comes down to the final minute, whoever executes best down the stretch gets the money and survives in advance to the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, it's always interesting there, especially when you're dealing with an injury to a key player. What actual effect are you going to get out of that? One thing I want to ask you also, Teddy, is you're playing in Dayton here. Obviously, all four fan bases will be in attendance today. It's not a big environment, but notoriously a little bit tight on the rims. We know watching Belmont, they're going to let it fly from three-point range. Windler is probably the single best three-point shooter I've seen all year long. Talk about maybe the pressure of this environment, a new gym where you haven't played at, and if you're so reliant on shooting the three-point shot, because the one thing we know about Temple, with Shiz Alston and Quentin Rose, they're going to be able to get to the rack. They're going to be bigger, faster, and more physical than Belmont is when they're more of a finesse team shooting threes. Any effect on your edge and capping when you say, you know what, this team's really relying on three balls and they haven't played here or in this atmosphere before?
Well, let me ask you that. First of all, yes, that does come into play, but you said the Temple should be able to get to the rack. That's why the condition of Muszynski is so huge tonight, because it's a guy, blocked, 2.5 shots a game this season in Ohio Valley Conference play. So if they have their shot blocker, makes an enormous difference to stop the Owls' penetration. When it comes to three-point shooting teams, I am always concerned in these big, cavernous first-round venues for the NCAA tournament. And in general, if I'm backing a team that's a good three-point shooting team in the first round, I'm doing it because they got a low-post scorer to go along with it. You need that inside balance, and sometimes these shots don't fall. You talk about the tight rims. That's the biggest thing. Boy, this total is not a Temple total, sitting here at 155, 154.5 in that range. If the Owls play at their pace, this game's not going over the total.
Yeah, exactly. Inside-out game, which they missed against Murray State, where all of a sudden, Teddy, instead of shooting wide-open three-point shots, you're getting locked on because you don't have that big down-low presence. Should be a fun one to watch. Fresh off a loss to the Knicks, Teddy, in the NBA, LeBron James, he's going to want redemption. He's going to want to get back out there. He was blocked at the buzzer. He can't stand this embarrassment, but he's going to sit this one out tonight, and so is Giannis. So we see a movement in total. When we were making up the script today, Teddy, the Bucks were as high as 13.5. Now went back down to 11. Over/under dropping as well to 230. The two big stars are out. NBA TV ratings going to be in the tank for this one, Teddy?
Yeah, well, I'll be watching True TV instead of the Lakers and the Bucks. Look, Milwaukee is in position to clinch the number one seed, something that they haven't had since 1970 or something, crazy like that. And they lost on Sunday to Philly, but the Raptors lost the same day to the Pistons. So it worked out. Lots of talk from Milwaukee about bouncing back strong. Of course, some of it came from Giannis, who's not going to play tonight. But tough games like this are going to help us in the future, moving forward in the playoffs, because every game is going to be like tonight. Hopefully, we learn from it. When we're in the same situation in the future, we can react better. So they're coming off a huge game that they lost. All right. They haven't locked the number one seed, but they're in good position in the number one seed. And all they have to do is win this game, survive and advance. This is not a spot where I'm excited about laying any kind of price with the Milwaukee Bucks this evening. All that being said, taking the Lakers is a leap of faith. They've lost 8 of their last 9. Obviously, the epic meltdown against the Knicks on Sunday, where they blew an 11-point lead in the last 4 minutes. And LeBron sitting by himself on the sideline, and everybody going, social media-wise, going nuts. Lakers remember what happened the last time these two teams met, where L.A. was in control of that game for 3 quarters, and the Bucks came in the fourth and just dominated, blew the Lakers off the floor, ended up winning by 11 the last 4 minutes. All Milwaukee. They were draining threes down the stretch in that contest. But it's worth noting, Malcolm Brogdon was huge for the Bucks in that game. He scored 21 in that contest. Brogdon, who's not going to move the needle on a point spread, he matters. He matters defensively. He matters offensively. Mirotic started with in his place the other night. He went 0 for 6 from three-point range and was a sieve on the defensive end. This is an impact injury for Milwaukee that is not being reflected in the point spread. Not just Giannis tonight. They're down 2 starters. Maybe you take a leap with the Lakers. It'd be Lakers or pass, I'll tell you that much. The value, in my mind, clearly on LA's side. And maybe with LeBron not playing, the rest of the team steps up.
Yeah, no, should be an interesting one to watch. If you're not watching True TV tonight, Teddy,